tonight, a former Regina police officer who pleaded guilty to breach of trust is facing a civil lawsuit. QP healthcare workers aren't pleased with the government's latest contract offer, and a Queen City X gets underway.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. A former Regina police officer who pleaded guilty to breach of trust and unauthorized computer use earlier this year is now facing civil lawsuits from two of the women impacted in the breach. CTV's Jacob Carr has the details.
Both Carrie Benjo and Bridget Sear have filed statements of claim in court of King's Bench against former police sergeant Robert Semenchuk. In Semenchuk's statement of defense, he admits to his conduct being a breach of trust and unauthorized use of a computer system. Semenchuk, who worked for Regina Police for 22 years, faced criminal charges over incidents Regina Police were first made aware of in 2023, using the police database to pursue personal relationships. Upon learning of the incident, his access to all police databases was revoked, and Semenchuk was suspended pending an extensive investigation before being formally charged in March 2025. The now former sergeant pled guilty to the charges in November of last year, and in February received a conditional sentence order for community service of 2 years less a day, followed by 3 years of probation. In this civil case, he denies the lack of consent and sexual assault allegations, stating any physical intimacy that occurred between himself and either of the two women who have filed lawsuits was consensual. Sear's response to Semenchuk's statement of defense argues any apparent consent was made legally invalid by Semenchuk's misrepresentation of his identity, occupation, marital status, and the nature of his interest in her. Sear's response went on to describe Semenchuk as a serial predator who had illegally obtained information about her and several other women. According to her statement, Semenchuk first contacted her in December of 2022 while she was undergoing cancer treatment, falsely identifying himself as Steve Perkins, a divorce construction consultant. The allegations from Sear and Benjo have yet to be tested in court. The plaintiff's lawyer, Maurice LaPrairie, and the defendant's lawyer, Nicholas Brown, were unavailable to comment on the matter on Wednesday. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Well, money appears to be the major stumbling block in contract talks between Saskatchewan QP healthcare workers and the province. With a strike vote on the horizon, the union revealed today it has received a contract offer, a 12% pay increase over 5 years, which union leaders say falls short of the inflation rate. Wayne Mantika has the latest.
A large group of QP healthcare workers rallied outside the Regina General Hospital, angry that they have gone 4 years without a new contract. They say management's last offer was 12% over 5 years, which is about 7 points below the 5-year inflation rate.
And we are not asking for too much. All we are asking for, what can we do to retain and attract healthcare workers in this province? And we have done the math. We look at what is happening in neighboring provinces. We are not asking for anything more than what is happening in our neighboring provinces.
QP represents 14,000 healthcare workers at hospitals and nursing homes across the province. They work in a wide range of professions, including MRI technicians, continuing care aides, cooks, and cleaners. Their next step will be a strike vote in early September.
We have been bargaining. We have talked to the government on many occasions. At this point in time, we are continuing to bargain, but we are calling the strike vote in September of 8 to 14. Our members will start the process of job action, and that job action will give a strong vote.
The health minister believes a deal is still possible.
As I said, I'm confident we're going to get to an agreement. It's just going to take a bit more negotiating.
Healthcare workers are considered essential, so not all 14,000 QP members would be allowed to strike at once. However, any labor disruption would place additional pressure on a healthcare system already facing significant strain. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Regina City Council meeting today with a request before members for more than $1 million in funding for the Globe Theatre. The Globe says it has faced major financial pressures created by its recent renovation, overages on construction costs, leading the downtown theatre to ask for $1.38 million in city grants to assist in covering the debt. Theatre brass says the cash is essential to the Globe's continued operations, and without it, the theatre may be forced to close.
A successful downtown is not created by one building or one organization. It is created by activity, by people and residents having a reason to come downtown after 5 p.m. The Globe is among those reasons. The economic impact is also significant.
Still in the heart of this discussion on whether to approve the grant, the meeting continues. We'll have more as we are updated. Well, after feedback from residents in the Queen City frustrated over weeds on city property, Mayor Chad Baczynski confirmed on social media that the City of Regina is listening to the concerns regarding the appearance of green spaces, parks, and public spaces. In a video posted to social media this week, Baczynski said that this year's budget was one of the most difficult that Regina has ever faced, and that council inherited significant financial pressures and was faced with some very tough decisions that did impact the maintenance of city green spaces.
Our responsibility was to maintain the balance between essential services while being mindful of the financial burden on residents. As a part of that process, we reclassified certain parks and adjusted maintenance levels. The intention was to find a more sustainable way to manage our resources and protect core and critical services. We knew there would be impacts, and in some areas we wanted to see how this approach would work in practice. What we're hearing clearly from residents is that beautification matters.
In a statement to CTV News, as of July 24th, the City of Regina has received approximately 1,000 more calls and emails from residents than last year that were concerned with park maintenance issues such as long grass, weeds, and other situations. Well, the Real District is going to be a busy place this week as the Queen City X takes over. Whether you want to take a thrill ride, listen to music, or destroy your insides with deep-fried delight, the X, it's got you covered. Mick Fable gives us a preview of what you can expect.
The thrill seekers are out as the 2026 edition of the Queen City X is officially underway. Management say putting on an event of this magnitude requires having a little something for everybody.
Having that kids stage, memory lane is really important to us. Having that agricultural entertainment definitely speaks to our roots and where we come from. So there's a lot of traditional pieces that we try to integrate every year.
West Coast Amusements are back on the Midway and have brought in their selection of rides, games, and treats. This is the second year in a row the Canadian-owned and family-run company have supplied the entertainment, something which has attracted fairgoers to beat the lineups and be some of the first on the rides this year.
The swing, the one behind us, we just went in it and I was screaming so crazy because it was so scared and now my throat hurts.
Entertainment is a big attraction for attendees, closely followed by food and drinks. This year, the weather will likely dictate what people will be lining up for.
Something cold because of how hot it is. Yeah, probably a lemonade.
And yourself, like, food-wise, what are you looking forward to?
Mini donuts.
A water station with shade has been set up, but there are also indoor options for those who want to wait out the heat, including a dog show and memory lane, a deep dive into the fair's history. Last year, affordability was a big factor in restructuring the QCX. This has remained in place for 2026 to get people out and having a good time.
We still do a lot of community engagement and giveaways. There's a lot of partnerships that we have within the community, giving away complimentary passes, making sure that we're inviting in those groups that might not have access to the event otherwise.
For night one, Billy Dean and Colin Ray will be taking the original 16 grandstand stage, capping off with a performance by Arkells on Sunday. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
And the Queen City Hex is where we find Sabine tonight, who instead of just giving us the weather, she's going to take us on a little carousel of what to expect. Sabine.
Yeah, Lee, the last time I was on a ride like this, I think I was 8 at Disneyland. And now Gareth and I have committed on this, what are we calling it? The merry-go-round? The carousel? We're on here for the next 45 minutes, so just watch how we continue for the rest of this broadcast. It is beautiful out here. If you want to take in the Queen City X on the first day, you are going to be taking in the perfect night to do so. If we take a look at the almanac, we actually warmed up to about 30 degrees today, felt closer to about 35, 36 late this afternoon. Now tomorrow, we'll see a little break from those really warm temperatures, and by break, I mean it'll feel like 30. And then by the time Friday, Saturday comes around, those temperatures are climbing right back up. But if we take a look at what the active weather or what our radar satellite is showing, we're still under the heat warning. And that heat warning is expected to continue until about Monday, where we see those temperatures drop below seasonal. But over the weekend, we're continuing to see warm temperatures, and I'll have details in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thanks, Sabine. I really hope she moves to the roller coaster or something. I know she said she's going to stay there all day, but I don't know. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Saskatchewan's number of active wildfires, by the way, are on a downward trend this week. 5 days ago, there were 68 wildfires burning in the province. That number has gone down to 45, with 8 fires contained, 7 not contained, 6 protecting values, and 24 are still under assessment. Also in the last week, the Bud fire on the eastern side of Lac La Ronge was brought under control, but the largest blaze remains the uncontained border fire. It's at more than 19,500 hectares along the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border. Moose Jaw RCMP are reaching out to the public regarding a theft just outside the city. On July 23rd in the early morning hours, a black SUV arrived at a business on Petrolia Road east of Moose Jaw. The occupants then stole several large cables, causing damage to the business as well. The vehicle, likely a compact SUV, maybe a 2012 to 2018 Ford Focus hatchback. If you recognize the vehicle or have any information on this theft, you're asked to call RCMP or Crime Stoppers. More than $67,000 of contraband and unauthorized items were seized at Saskatchewan Penitentiary on July 25th and July 27th. Now, those items include methamphetamine and THC concentrate. Correctional Services Canada says these seizures were the result of vigilant staff. Correctional Services Canada also says it currently uses tools like scanners and drug detector dogs to conduct searches and is heightening measures to prevent contraband from entering its institutions. Well, for Melville residents, it's been 3 years in the making. The grand reopening of the Connexus Credit Union branch. Connexus amalgamated with the Cornerstone Credit Union back in January of this year to create a bit of a resilient provincial credit union. The construction itself just started over a year ago, and the branch did remain optional throughout, looking to create a more modern branch where staff and clients can enjoy. The last major renovation lasted roughly 20 years, and the staff expects the same longevity out of this current look.
We're here for the long term in the city of Melville, and we're here for our members for the long term, and I think that shows our commitment to them. So it was really exciting for all of us that we got this renovation.
And by the way, the grand opening came just after the Bank of Montreal, or BMO as some people know it, closed its only branch in the community last month.
Should Canada use energy as a bargaining chip in trade talks with the U.S.? Plus, it could be a long weekend for air travelers if WestJet flight attendants go on strike.
Well, some sad news late this afternoon. Calgary police say that 11-year-old Parker Wells, an autistic boy who disappeared nearly 2 weeks ago, has been found dead.
It is believed Parker entered into a deep culvert on the west side of Deerfoot Trail, where he traveled into a network of pipes that crossed under Deerfoot Trail. His body was found in a small pipe on the east side of Deerfoot Trail.
Police say search teams have been deployed after they received a tip last night that Parker's clothing was found in a creek. That did lead them to his remains inside a 4-foot concrete water pipe under a major expressway. The 11-year-old boy with autism disappeared from his home on July 16th, and police say they don't believe there is any criminality behind this. Hundreds of officers, trained volunteers, and members of the public came together in an effort to try to bring him home. Police say they are grateful for the community's help. Well, hanging over Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc's return to Washington, Donald Trump's insistence that he doesn't care about CUSMA and would rather be independent. In response, New Brunswick's premier has raised the idea of doing whatever it takes to get a trade deal, including using her province's energy. Abigail Beeman has more on using energy as a bargaining chip.
New Brunswick supplies nearly half of Maine's electricity. The premier says she may use her province's power in negotiations if it would stave off new tariffs.
Have to be very strategic about how we use the leverage that we have. But I think one of my colleagues around the table used the quote, you need to walk softly and carry a big stick.
Ontario tried that last year and backed down within 24 hours.
We had a problem with Ontario and they dropped that.
The idea raised too by federal Conservatives at an emergency meeting to discuss another thorny topic, the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Canada has leverage. We have energy. We have critical minerals. We have steel, aluminum, autos, manufacturing. American factories depend on Canadian supply chains. American workers depend on this relationship too. So let's use it.
The Prime Minister said Canada has lots of options and the focus is working towards a deal.
So when you're supplier of a key commodity, key service, you got to think really hard about not supplying. I don't see the value of doing. I mean, I can understand conceptually, but I don't see the value of it.
Mark Carney also asked what Canada is getting in return for concessions, including the Gordie Howe Bridge, and in this court filing, news the government is going to drop the base contribution requirement for American streaming services to pay for Canadian content. The government will pay up instead. Carney said it's about affordability.
Most Canadians have one or two or so of these streamers, and it's real hard. This stuff adds up, and there's a better way to do it. We took the judgment there was a better way to do it.
This is nothing short of changing political direction based on the broader context of the trade war.
On the question of concessions, the Prime Minister focused on the fact the Gordie Howe Bridge is now open. He said Canada is in a strong position and working on a more stable relationship with the United States, but he didn't directly answer the question. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
WestJet flight attendants could be on a picket line as soon as Sunday. The clock is ticking toward a strike deadline that could see 4,400 WestJet flight attendants walk off the job. A key sticking point is compensation for work done on the ground. That's the same issue that sparked a work stoppage at Air Canada last summer. WestJet says passengers with flights scheduled between July 30th and August 4th can make a one-time change or cancel with no fee. Securing your data and critical infrastructure from online attacks is becoming more costly in Canada. Scott Hurst breaks down the growing impact of data breaches and the fallout.
As technology continues to have a bigger impact in our daily lives and nearly everything these days seems to be interconnected, it can come at a cost. The average cost of a data breach in Canada has reached a record $7.11 million. The attacks are becoming larger and longer lasting, and the energy sector reported the highest average cost per breach. According to new numbers from tech giant IBM, the average breach is exposing roughly 28,500 records. That's up 8% from last year, and it took more than 200 days on average to detect and contain the impact. With so many services now interconnected, the fallout can be far and wide, all the way down to disruptions felt by us, the consumer. Energy organizations reported the highest average costs at more than $9.2 million per incident. It highlights the growing financial impact these cyber attacks can have on critical infrastructure. AI also playing a major role. It is both helping and hurting. Organizations that deployed AI in their security operations reported the cost of an average breach to be much lower and contain the impacts significantly faster. However, globally, there's been a more than 50% increase in AI-driven attacks, showing just how quickly attackers are adopting the latest technologies. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Firefighters have died fighting a wildfire in Greece. Fanned by strong winds, deadly wildfires are spreading across Greece after causing devastation in Spain, France, and Portugal. The Greek Fire Service says the two firefighters were trapped by the fire they were battling near a popular tourist destination on the island of Crete.
Still ahead, a singer-songwriter from Prince Albert is enjoying his breakthrough year in the Canadian country music industry.
Beer company is paying tribute to Saskatchewan farmers. Thursday on Your Morning, we're learning more about the Bush Beer Bail Board campaign and their specialty cans.
Welcome back. I'm still down here at the Queen City X in Regina at the Real District, and I am still on the merry-go-round. Listen, when I commit to a bit I commit to the bit. But you know what? The temperatures have been beautiful. If you are thinking of coming out tonight to check out the first day of the QCX, it would be the perfect night to do so. Even right now, currently, if we take a look outside through our Skycam, you can see some of the rides in the distance on that Skycam shot. You probably can't see me, but that's okay. Current temperature 28 degrees. It's actually feeling like 35, so still slightly muggy. Tomorrow we'll have a little bit of a break when it comes to the humidity, but it's still expecting to be a pretty warm day. Now, if we take a look at the radar satellite, there's not a whole lot to show you because we didn't really see much in terms of active weather. However, the southeast did see a little pocket of some rain coming through with some severe thunder. Oh, it looks like actually now in the far corner there is a severe thunderstorm warning. You can see where that system's coming through in the far southeast there. Other than that, we're looking at nothing but heat warnings throughout the southern half of the province, and that is expected to continue as we head into the weekend. I don't also have to show you much on this radar satellite, especially when it comes to central and southern Saskatchewan. If we continue throughout the next couple of days, we'll see a little bit of cloud cover on Thursday, but other than that, it's mostly sunny conditions and continuing to see warm temperatures into the weekend up until Monday. August-long Monday is where we start to see that cool down, and I'll show you that coming up in your 7-day forecast. Temperature-wise, though, like I said, tomorrow, a little bit of a break when it comes to those humidex levels, but when we're taking a look at temperatures, we're still for the most part above seasonal. A little cooler up in La Loche at 23, Lloydminster 25, La Ronge and Prince Albert 26 degrees, and then when we get into parts of areas around Saskatoon, North Battleford, we're still looking at warmer than seasonal temperatures, close to 30 degrees for Saskatoon tomorrow, 28, 27 for Yorkton and North Battleford, and then the southwest, again, warmer than seasonal, 32 for Maple Creek, 29 for Swift Current and Moose Jaw in the southeast. Looking at the similar temperatures as we are in the southwest. 28 for Estevan and Weyburn and Assiniboia, 29. There's a bit of a little jerk with these rides, but that's okay. If we take a look at what Regina's looking like tonight, it's a fairly warm night tonight. 15 is the expected low, but tomorrow we're warming up to 30. It will, in fact, feel like 30 degrees, and then by the time we get into Friday, actually, I'll take a look at our 7-day forecast. I can break that down a little bit more, but tomorrow, a little warmer, but not too bad. 30 degrees by Friday, 32 feeling like 36. By Saturday, that is where we're going to see some real heat. 35 is the expected daytime high, but it's going to feel like 39. And then by the time we get into Sunday, it is 30 degrees and feeling like 30 degrees there. And then you see that cool down heading into next week. First full week of August, Monday, 21 degrees, 24 on Tuesday, and by Wednesday, 26 and mainly sunny. So Monday and Tuesday, I do just want to point out, we're going to see a quick drop in those temperatures. It's still above 20 degrees, but it's going to feel like a harsh drop when we take a look at what we've been experiencing over the last couple of days. Other than that, you've got a great week ahead if you want to take in the fair, Lee.
Little jerk on the rides. There's no way to talk about the ride operator, but the 8-year-old Sabine, what would you have named your horse? 8-year-old Sabine would have been.
If I'm being honest, it would have been either Princess Jasmine or Miss Elizabeth from the WWF wrestling.
Just a little insight on Sabine's childhood. We'll come back to you, Sabine.
Sounds good.
Well, when the Canadian Country Music Awards are held September 19th in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan will be well represented. Jess Moskaluk up for Female Artist and Video of the Year, and then there's a singer-songwriter from Prince Albert that's having his breakthrough moment. Jasmine Peltier has more.
A Prince Albert musician has been making a name for himself in the country music scene.
I kind of started writing almost like a form of therapy for me. I was going through some tough times, and it kind of felt like a way to talk to somebody without really having to talk to somebody, and you could kind of just express what you were feeling by writing it down. And then I always loved hearing music and playing music, so turning it into songs was the fun part of it for me.
Josh Stumpf is seeing some recognition from this year's Canadian Country Music Awards as a nominee up for Fans' Choice and Breakthrough Artist of the Year. And he's racked up 6 Saskatchewan Country Music Association award nominations too.
What I was listening to growing up was a lot of country and rock, which I think you can kind of hear through a lot of my music, both those themes. But it's everywhere here. It's part of life. They talk about all the stuff that, I want to hear about.
Stump learned to play guitar in his early teens and would eventually start going to open mics in Saskatoon.
I was farming for a little bit in Smeaton, and I would drive from Smeaton to Saskatoon and go do open mics for like 4 people. Mark Poppin and Joelle Gaudette were hosting the open mic at the Capitol in Saskatoon, and they approached me to come record a song.
With support from Saskatchewan's music community, Stump has seen 2 singles hit top 10 on the Billboard Canada Country Chart.
His success in music isn't what makes me proud. It's the work that he puts into it.
What's next for the rising artist? Stump is headed back to Nashville in August to work on new music and will be making festival appearances in the next few months, including one in Australia at the Groundwater Country Music Festival. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Still ahead, Kian Schaefer-Baker continues to have a breakout season. What does his quarterback feel is behind his sensational start?
Your Morning Minute, brought to you by Affinity Wealth Management.
In the age of AI, people are changing how they research and how they ask questions, especially when it comes to their finances. Velvet Sudo is a wealth specialist with Affinity Wealth Management, and she's here to talk to us about investing in this new age. Velvet, with all the information available right now, do you find that clients are coming better informed, or is it a little bit overwhelming with all that information?
Yeah, I would say it's a little of both. They are definitely coming in better informed, but overwhelmed with all of the information that is out there. So what we as advisors do, we come in and we help sort through that noise and figure out what is appropriate for their individual needs, and then make sure that the decisions they make are in alignment with their goals.
Absolutely. And Affinity's wealth team of professionals have access to the tools needed to guide you through your investment journey. Check them out online at affinitywealth.ca and watch Your Morning Saskatchewan weekdays 6 to 9 on CTV or watch live on Crave.
Already without running back A.J. Ouellette, the Riders might be missing another offensive weapon Saturday in Edmonton. Receiver Samuel Emelis missed the second straight practice with a foot issue, putting more pressure perhaps on the league's second leading receiver, Kian Schaefer-Baker.
2nd and 10 Saskatchewan in a 7-point hole. Harris, deep shots, got him to the 10-5 touchdown. Kian Schaefer-Baker.
A Canadian receiver coming off a season-best 185 yards receiving through the air. That gives him 656 yards in just 6 games. He's on pace for just under 2,000 yards, which would be a Rider record. That would surpass Joey Walter's 1,715 yards in 1981, although he only played in 16 games. It would also crush his previous best by almost 1,000 yards. So what's changed this year? Well, quarterback Trevor Harris thinks the answer is a simple one.
He's healthy. Yeah. When I first got here, and I didn't get to play with him in 23, but during that season, I thought it'd be an opportunity for me to study the games of each of the receivers, and so I took a few weeks and studied each receiver. And after the season, I said, I hope we get a full season together, because I think you'll go for 1,500, and I think maybe I lowballed him.
Riders are also on pace to have 3 1,000-yard receivers for the first time since 2017. And welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. Riders coming off that tough loss to the Edmonton Elks, but a chance for redemption in Edmonton on Saturday, Wes. So Marcus Sales saying he didn't think the defense actually played that bad, just breakdowns on very particular plays. And man, there were a lot of particular plays where the Elks were able to get some scoring opportunities. So can you get that done quickly? Can you fix that in a week?
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear him say that, but he might be right, Lee. I mean, him and Jackson Ford had a little mix up there where they both played the low man and let Mac get behind them high for that big late 81-yarder, right? And it did seem like the defense did play really well, except for a couple of busts in that secondary. So if that's been an emphasis this week, then I do expect them to clean that up. But they still have other weapons, and they still have other ways of moving the ball. I'm not as worried about the big plays deep. Hopefully they get back and kind of have a little bit more of a shell after what they experienced against Edmonton at home. But they are on the road. It's probably going to be a little harder to communicate. I just think that they also need to still, even though Justin Rankin has quieted down over the last few weeks, just make sure that they're scheming up to keep him out of the mix as well.
Yeah, and, you know, they did a decent job against him in that last game. I mean, he got a couple plays in their passing game, but he wasn't able to get those really big runs. And is that a good sign for this defensive line and linebacker core? Because I know it's newish. They're still gelling. They're still working on that chemistry.
I think so, because statistically, they're not really up there. They're kind of at the bottom of the league as far as yards per rush. So I think just having that against a good back like Rankin, and let's just see if they can have a repeat performance and give these guys some confidence. It all starts up front. We've been seeing great stuff out of Roughriders and the rest of the D-line getting to the quarterback, but just really sealing up those gaps, making sure that they're keeping teams in second and long is, I think, going to behoove the Riders this week. I think, well, we'll see how it goes. These are two great teams. It's been a great matchup. That was an unbelievable game, maybe one of the best of the season, if not the best last week. So we'll see if they can match that intensity.
You know, probably no A.J. Ouellette means Connolly will be at running back. Samuel Emelis has missed a couple practices. Weed would probably play for him if he doesn't play. But, I mean, offensively, it was another 30-point game. So do you have any concerns if that's the case going into Edmonton with that lineup?
Yeah, I do think that obviously A.J. is the preferred back, and I think more so because of his prowess as far as blocking and understanding, you know, just the offensive scheme. We'll see. Connolly, the last time I saw him out there, he did have one or two busts that I noticed when I was watching the tape. So we'll see if he can clean that up. But he's a great back, and I think he's shown some explosiveness in the run game, so maybe they can get the run game going again early this game and hopefully into the second half. The one thing I've noticed about the Riders is they've gotten AJ going early in the first half, came out with some big first halves, but then they kind of go away from the run in the second. So hopefully they can kind of keep the script a little more even in the second half, have more success on the ground.
And I got to ask you, considering the Riders lost on a 56, 57-yard field goal for the Edmonton Elks, Alex Hale was able to get one over 40, but the second one, I think, was quacking as it went past wide. So still okay with the situation when it comes to kicking?
I mean, I guess we're playing this based off of the roster and advantages you get for having that global kicker and being able to bring up an extra receiver or an extra DB and have a guy that's maybe a little more of a cover guy on special teams, not necessarily the kicking game. Me personally, I feel like you try to get the best kicker you can out there, but hey, I'm not in that coaching room trying to make it all work for that roster, right? So we'll give them a little more time, but we got our eye on you. We got our eye on you.
Yeah. The clock is ticking, but we'll see what happens in Edmonton. Maybe it's just a Mosaic Stadium thing, but that's where you play half your games, so you got to be able to kick there. We'll take a look at that Edmonton game and look forward to another game on another edition of X's and O's.
X's and O's, brought to you by Campion College at the University of Regina.
It was another record-breaking night in the Western Canadian Baseball League, and once again it featured the Moose Jaw Miller Express and Swift Current 57s.
Soto at first, always a threat. And Soto in motion, looking for number 43 on the year.
Thomas Soto stealing his 43rd base, breaking the old record, and he didn't stop there. He stole 2 more bases. He now has 45 on the season. Caden Ransom, Michael Rago added home runs as Moose Jaw won 8-2. They moved 2 games up on Saskatoon for first place in the East Division after the Berries lost to Lethbridge. Tonight, Swift Current travels to Weyburn, Regina's in Sylvan Lake, and Saskatoon entertains Medicine Hat. A group of Saskatchewan athletes is getting ready to take the world stage in the sport of baton twirling. 9 athletes from southern Saskatchewan will compete at the World Championships. Regina team's Sundown Optimist Baton Group and Phoenix Baton will represent us here locally. The teams have spent the past year preparing for this event alone.
We're super excited that we have such a strong Saskatchewan contingent going, and we're excited to showcase all of our routines that have been practicing so hard for the past year, especially in the past month.
The World Freestyle and Rhythmic Twirl Championships take place in Paris. They begin on August the 5th.
Still ahead, how these women are rowing towards a goal in more ways than one.
what's happening in our community. The Esterhazy Community Market will be happening on July 31st at 8:45 a.m. at 701 Park Avenue in Esterhazy. For all the details, you can email reneeanderson76@gmail.com. The Classic Car Shows will be happening July 31st at 5 p.m. at the Southland Mall in Regina. For all the details, email FridayNightsClassic@hotmail.com. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
One last time from the horsey in the back on the merry-go-round. I am still down here at the Queen City X, and we're going to take a look at your weather one more time, this time focused on the rural forecast. If you're in Saskatoon or if you're around Saskatoon, want to travel in for the Saskatoon X, or if you're around Regina and want to travel in for the QCX, you've got beautiful weather, not just today, but even into tomorrow. We're back into seasonal range for some areas like Meadow Lake, Lloydminster, and Melfort at 25 degrees, 26 for Wynyard and Spiritwood, and a little warmer for Watrous Outlook, Kindersey at 28, and Hudson Bay 27. Nothing but sunshine expected for most of Saskatchewan tomorrow. Closer to the southern border, some of those temperatures getting a little warmer. 32 for Maple Creek, 31 for Leader, 30 for Lumsden and Pilot Butte. East and Cypress could see a risk of a thunderstorm, 29 degrees there, and the southeast 27 degrees for most of the southeast there as well. We're still seeing those heat warnings for much of southern Saskatchewan, but when we take a closer look at Purdue, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, no heat warnings just yet. Tomorrow, 26 degrees, expecting to feel like 29, and by the time we get into about Saturday, Purdue is also expected to feel like 39, so a very warm Saturday expected for many parts of Saskatchewan.
Saskatoon is moving forward with a new bylaw aimed at improving safety on their city buses. The bylaw sets out what behavior is and is not acceptable. It will allow officers to remove people from transit property, issue temporary bans, and hand out $50 tickets for offenses such as distracting a driver or putting feet up on seats. Originally, the bylaw contained minimum age requirements requiring children 6 and under to be accompanied by someone at least 16 years of age, but Council decided to scrap that provision.
There's no reason a 15-year-old can't pick up a younger sibling from school. Parents and guardians are legally responsible for their children, and parents can make these decisions.
The new bus rules are expected to take effect in September. A Waterloo-based Dragon Boat team made up entirely of breast cancer survivors is preparing for the opportunity of a lifetime. They will compete alongside thousands of other survivors from around the world next month. But as CTV's Spencer Turcotte tells us, they are hoping for some help to cross the financial finish line.
Every stroke tells a story of survival.
2, 3.
The Dragon Flyers Dragon Boat team with the Waterloo Paddling Club is made up entirely of breast cancer survivors.
I was diagnosed 6 years ago.
The cancer had spread to 2 out of 6 lymph nodes that had been taken. My retirement plan quickly became a plan of survival.
Each woman has her own unique experience, but a common desire to help each other through their recovery journeys.
Excellent. If I hadn't found this group to support me, I don't know where I'd be.
I was just blown away and so inspired by seeing women that were 20 years older than me surviving. So I knew that I could survive as well.
The group of powerful women push each other on days they may not believe in themselves. And now they're putting that determination to the ultimate test.
We committed a couple years ago to take a full boat to France.
They'll head to the French Alps for the International Breast Cancer Paddlers Commission Festival at the end of August to race against more than 4,500 breast cancer survivors from 25 countries. But getting there isn't cheap.
It's around $100,000 to get just the core group of 24 to 25 paddlers plus our coach there.
So they've created an online fundraiser to help cover the cost of this rare opportunity, one that has given them something to work toward during some of their darkest moments.
When you're in the boat, no one's poking you, no one's prodding you, no one's scanning you. You don't have time to think about what you've been through or what you have going on next. It's just unimaginable that at a point where
I didn't even know if I was going to survive. Now I'm going to be, and all the women along with me are going to be international athletes.
Athletes who have helped one another on their cancer journey, proving that sometimes the strongest way forward is being in the same boat.
That's it, reach it out.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
Farm market boards canola street price down again by $3.80 to $719.65 per ton. The futures price down almost $12 to $771.60 per ton. Amber durum wheat, it stays the same, $285.20 per ton. Red spring wheat's down $1.83 to $302.91 per ton. Feed barley, $223.21 per ton, and flax is $630.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge and ICE Futures Canada. The stock markets, the TSX dropped 450 points. The Dow Jones jumped down by 1,153 points. A massive drop there. The Canadian dollar, it dropped a decent amount, almost 0.3 cents to 71.15 cents US. How about commodities? Any better luck there? Well, yes, gold was up 66 cents. West Texas Intermediate crude went up $5.43, but Western Canadian Select crude dropped by $3.57. And gas in Regina, it's come down to $1.76 per liter, but there's different prices all over the place right now in Regina, so drive around, you might find a deal.
Microsoft shared its numbers after the end of the trading day. A key metric for Microsoft is the amount of money it makes from its cloud service called Azure. It came in above $100 billion US for the first time. That's 43% better year over year. Another key number, how many people are using Copilot, Microsoft's AI agent? The company says it reached over 30 million paid seats. That's 10 million more than its last quarter. Meta also reported today revenue for its latest quarter was $60 billion US, but its revenue forecast disappointed analysts. Investors are concerned about how much the social media company is investing in AI and how it's going to make that money back. Meta projects spending at least $130 billion US just this year. The U.S. Federal Reserve has held the key lending rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. It's been there since January, but it wasn't a unanimous decision. Some officials are concerned about inflation, driven in part by the higher oil prices. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
The Newscast Master Chef, followed by The Rainmaker at 8 o'clock, Borderline at 9, Big Bang Theory at 10, and E-Talk at 10:30. A lot of those in the titles there. Tonight, of course, the first night of the Queen City X, and musical acts take us back to the 1990s.
You don't know it, boy, but you just blew it. And I said, well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story.
It could be Colin Ray's biggest hit. That's My Story, released in 1993 and reached number 12 on the Billboard chart, number 6 in Canada. He'll headline tonight with Billy Dean. That show starts at 8 o'clock and is free with admission. And a zoo in Slovenia is celebrating the birth of 3 beautiful tiger cubs. The triplets recently had their first vaccination and their gender was checked. Zoo staff very happy about their initial health status, saying all the girls are fit and doing well. They will stay with their mother for 2 years. That's how long it takes, actually, for tigers to fully develop and learn everything that they would need to learn in the wild. The zoo will eventually name the cubs, usually based on geographical areas, habitats, or characteristics that are associated with tigers. Oh, don't get too close. Well, Sabine's not here, so it's kind of boring. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a good evening.